Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Today I want to talk about the push and pull mechanism going on between the US dollar or fiat currency in general and your precious metals. Once upon a time, the dollar was backed by gold and silver, but now when the dollar strengthens, silver prices fall. And when silver prices are up, the dollar's weakening. Now, why is this? Things are switched. The dollar has no value, but when people believe in it, it lowers the price of something with real value. And that bugs me. Because right now, as silver is down, the dollar is strengthening, and that's one of the main reasons why precious metals are low right now. And you have to remember that this is all currency we're talking about. I mean, silver and gold are technically money to some extent. You can still spend your US dollars or your silver eagles for a dollar face value. Constitutional silver was a real currency used in the everyday world. So once the dollar began its journey with no value attached after 1965, things changed a lot. Hyperinflation flooded the system, and people automatically were screwed, or SOL, because there was no way that we were ever going to fix this or adjust to this type of system or society that could even try to compare it to when it was backed by something that actually had value. There's nothing in place that could have ever even came close to being successful. The dollar's never been successful in any situation. In 1933, FDR tried to pass an act that was written in 1917 which would allow the government to confiscate people's gold bullion and jewelry. And this act alone shot the dollar down 54%. And that's extremely drastic. That's more than half of the dollar's value. It shot gold prices up to $38 an ounce, which was originally or was $24 before that act was put into place. And this is where it all started, from banks trying to separate from precious metals because they fear it. Because our money isn't pegged by gold and silver anymore, banks fear it. But you also have to keep your closest enemies, around you, or keep your enemies close. Because now central banks own a lot of gold and silver. And that's not by coincidence. That's not just because it's shiny. That's not just because they're stackers. No, it's because they know where the real value lies, and they know that for a bank to even have some type of reciprocation or any type of backing, they have to have gold and silver, because there's nothing else that it could even compare. Their fiat currency, the dollars they're pumping out and printing aren't real money, and that's not going to save them in a situation if they did have to barter or trade or negotiate. It's the gold and silver. This is something that I think isn't talked enough about in the economy or in society or in the news or anything. I mean, when I made this video earlier today, which I highly recommend, it's one of my best videos I ever made, hands down. I spent a lot of time making it and researching. I was talking about the possibility of the feds or the government confiscating your gold and silver. I went over the historical data of it. I went over articles. I went over the reasons why they did it, the possibility of it happening, what was going on during the time, and all of it. I definitely recommend you guys check that out. But when I was reading that, you saw the timeline put into play where people, or where the governments cut off the ties, and then why. And all of it is for greed. They tried to shoot gold up, they tried to shoot the dollar up to their power, but they don't want people investing or stacking large amounts of gold and silver, because they want people investing into stocks, stuff like that, which is attached to fiat currency. But since gold and silver isn't attached to fiat currency, you can see that that could be a threat to them. They only want you to have gold and silver in jewelry amounts, or ornaments, quote unquote, they called it, up to 500 grams. For a married man, it's 500 grams. For a single man, it's like 250 grams. And they're actually still allowed to confiscate it even if it's not your gold in your own home. And this was stuff passed even later on. This was passed, I think, 2006, that was written, or those stats were shown. And then also Australia did it in 1959, if I'm not mistaken. So this stuff isn't all old news. There's still stuff going on till this day. I mean, you have to sign the 1099B. You have to sign the, I think it's the 10, or it's the 1040 or the 1042, something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But for to even claim on your taxes, if you own a certain amount, you still have to report it, and they want to know who has a lot of gold and silver, especially if you go to your local coin shop, buy specific coins. It also goes off of rare coins, or more unique coins that aren't being circulated as widely as your buffaloes and the eagles and maple leafs. So this is something that obviously they're keeping an eye on. They're paying attention to. It's not like they don't care about it. It's not like they're sweeping it under the rug. Because if that was the case, then these drastic measures wouldn't be put into place and wouldn't be, written into lawful acts. So I'm curious where this is headed, and also really what's going on behind the scenes, because we get a glimpse. We can see, we see some of, the situations happening. We see some of the circumstances. We see some of the outcomes. We see some of the symptoms, but we're not seeing the real meat and potatoes on what's really going on and what do they really think of this system, and if they are corrupted, or if they are trying to manipulate prices, or if they are trying to keep all the power at bay in their hands because they don't want the everyday people earning or receiving or stacking any of this. Then why? And what threat really does it put to them, or what threat does it put to the dollar, and to what extent? This is the stuff I'm curious on. This is the stuff that I'm trying to research and figure out. And I'm curious what you guys think about this. Because the dollar shouldn't have to be competing against silver and vice versa. It could go up naturally both together. I mean, silver still is pegged to the dollar to some extent. You have spot price. So wouldn't a healthy dollar, a strong dollar, also help silver out, not shoot prices down just because it's more profitable? You don't have to compete against it. Why don't you compete with it? Or why don't you put them together, and they could obviously, they can both correlate or work in a healthy manner together to boost each other. But obviously, the dollar's depreciating, and it needs to be held on by something. And I think the precious metals are the closest thing that could do that to save its butt, but it still can't. I mean, it's not like we're bringing back the gold standard. There's no way that's going to work. It wouldn't even fix the solution. We're too deep in the hole. There has to be an alternative, and the only alternative right now is precious metals. And I think that's why banks are stacking gold as well. That's, we obviously are looking at it more from a consumer standpoint. They're looking at it more from a producer standpoint. So they're looking big business in the bigger picture. But the overall term is, what are they going to do? They know their dollar's collapsing. They know they're $24 trillion in debt. They know this system's not going to be able to work for too much longer. So what is their game plan, and what do they feel about it? Where are they trying to take it? Owning gold and silver could, yes, it holds its value, but what's going to happen when the financial system collapses? No amount of gold or silver is going to get you out of that, because that's all the debt previously plus the amount that you still have. So not only the $24 trillion in debt, but all of the people's money, the system that's collapsed, plus this new era that we're advancing in, where we're trying to get ourselves out of debt by replacing it with more debt. Everything's on credit now. They want people to build credit and go into debt on purpose, so they have something to owe to the government, and that's how the system is running. That's how we're staying above water. But once that collapses, there's nothing to keep us above water. That's why you need to invest into precious metals. It's the safest, smartest, soundest solution. It's the only way. So I definitely think you guys should check out the video I posted earlier today, when I'm talking about the possibility of them confiscating your gold and silver, because it is a reality, and it is into act. It's into play. It could happen. Now, there's no way that they would force you. They're not going to kick down your door, but they do put into action that if you own X amount, or some, whatever the cap is, you have to turn it in, or return it, or whatever the case is. Now, obviously, the people that do sign on their taxes, they would know where you are, so they could, because you own a specific amount or a specific coin, so that could be more dangerous. But that's just why you don't spend X amount of dollars at your coin shop, or that's why you don't buy specific gold coins. And they're actually extremely rare, unique coins, so I'm sure none of you guys even have them. But it is stuff you need to think about and be aware of. But I'm curious what you guys think about this. Do you guys think the dollar should be worth working with silver? And why do you think they go so hand in hand apart from each other? Do you think the government is setting it up like that on purpose? Do you think these prices are influencing each other on purpose to correlate or to manipulate prices easier? I'm curious what you guys think. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you're new, because I do post daily videos. If you want to be updated on a daily basis what's going on in the world of precious metals, make sure to subscribe to this channel. But anyways, I thank you guys for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys soon. Peace.